I come from a country where color is loud, joy is a rhythm, and clutter is normal. I am Brazilian. I came from a family where we have joy, cows, celebration. We have 13 cousins, and my house was always crowded, noisy, and happy. We don't come from rich, which means that we have a lot of what if items around the house. I come for a place there is a lot of happiness and also a lot of things going on, everything on the same place and the same time. And it was great, like for my first years of my life until my 20s. I was content like this. It was the norm, it was everything that I knew, and I never heard about such a thing of minimalism. Never across this word, like it's not a thing in Brazil. And I even started to talk about that in my channel, and people still don't get it, don't get the concept. But 6 years ago, I moved to Israel with my husband, our dog, and we came with 6 boxes, 4 boxes, 2 luggage, a dog, and a lot of dreams. But let's rewind a bit. So I'm a lawyer. I graduated at 24ish years old as a lawyer, but I started my journey in the internet like an influencer in 2012. As you can notice, English is not my mother tongue. I speak Portuguese, of course, and also I speak a little bit of Hebrew, Italian. I can understand Spanish, but yeah, I started my influencer journey and created a YouTube channel which is in Portuguese and started to share my daily life, a little bit from school, law school. I graduated, I got married, I got engaged and then married, and we moved to Israel. With the influencer lifestyle came a lot of boxes, a lot of press kits, a lot of things coming on inside of my house. What was already cluttered. As I mentioned, I came from a very modesty family where we value things more than I think we should, material things. And yeah, I had everything that could support my influencer lifestyle and access, lots of access. PR in Brazil is no joke. I received boxes and boxes and makeup, and for example, I had to give almost all my makeup moved to Israel with 14 kilos of makeup. I don't know how much is this in pounds, but yeah, what made me a minimalist moving abroad? We came from a 2-room apartment in Brazil, something about 70 square meters, to a loft, 28 square meters, counting with the bathroom, me, my husband, and a dog. And we had everything. We didn't miss it out. We could host parties. We have lots of friends coming on, and it was fun. It was light. We could study Hebrew, start our new lives, and we didn't feel like we are lacking. And this made me think. In the beginning, I was like overworrying. I won't have like an apartment. I'm gonna have like a room with like no sofa, no nothing. We bought a table on IKEA. I bought like a vanity desk and double it as a desk to study, and we have a micro tiny balcony, and we hosted for 12 people and even more. We did lots of parties. We enjoyed our like late 20s in this apartment for 6 months, and we never felt like we didn't have enough. Never felt like we didn't have enough space, but we felt abundance of time, and time to enjoy with our friends, to make new friends, because we are in a different country, for a different language. We didn't anyone. We didn't know anyone from Israel by the time. We reinvented ourselves from scratch. And the lack of material things gave us abundance of time to really take care of what matters. Fast forward, we moved to the country center, near Tel Aviv. We moved to Petah Tikva in a bigger apartment. A little bit excited, but we didn't bought tons of stuff to fill out all the gaps that we had from our teeny tiny apartment to the bigger one, because we knew that we didn't need much. Of course, we upgraded the sofa, bigger TV, things like that, but nothing crazy. Then I discovered that I was pregnant, and I was overwhelmed with all the things that I need to buy for this tiny little human that are coming to the world. And I was feeling stressed, overwhelmed with all the lists and all the things that you must have, you need to have a kid. And by the end of the day, we bought a bunch of stuff that didn't fill any gaps, or it wasn't live and death situation to have a kid. Basically, within a few months, we understood that the only thing that Iris, or Iris if you want to speak her name in English, but we call her Iris, needed, it was me, my husband, and our little bubble of joy and love that we built around her. And everything that people say that we needed, it was unessential. And we started to come back to the minimalism. And this is where I crossed the term of minimalism and could understand that this was not only my life, but a thing, like a lifestyle. People are swearing by it. People are making videos on the internet about it. And I was happy because I found myself, and I didn't feel like I was a freak because my daughter didn't have 12 bibs, 14 bar suits, 5 towels. I understand that now we need to explain the most basic things, like project pen. Why is not so obvious that you need to finalize a makeup item before you buy another one? And things that was obvious for me, of course, because I was swimming in the wrong direction. And now that I am very depth in the minimalism, for 6 years, but very aware of it for the last 4 since my daughter was born, I can see that we still have a long journey to convince the rest of the world to normalize having less, and that having less shouldn't be having less, should be the norm, should be the obvious things to have. If you have 5 beds, you need 5 bed sets for it. You don't need to have tons of it. If you have 2 feet, how many shoes do you need to have? Closets full of stuff. Lives bounded and agendas also filled with meaningless appointments that are gonna give you no joy or bring you to nowhere. Now this is normal. Shouldn't be. That's why we are starting this journey here, and I am coming out of my comfort zone because I started this whole thing in Portuguese, but now I'm bringing my voice to other countries, so people and my friends here in Israel also, but people can hear a little bit more about my journey, and that you don't need to move overseas or have a baby or have any major life event to make you understand that this is not normal. Overconsumption is not normal. Things that social media these days and everyone these days try to throw onto us that we need to have, we must have, this is gonna save your life, and this is the 5 things that you need to buy from Amazon, and all this bullshit is just bullshit. And we need to wake up and see that we are destroying our world, that we are destroying the planet, that we are sinking in debt for nothing, to buy things that you don't need, for people that you don't care about to look at you and think that you are successful or resourceful or whatever. And now I can see, I have now another kid, and with him it was very different. Basically, we didn't buy him anything, just a bunch of clothes. We reused the cloth diapers that we used for my firstborn, but I bought time with him, because I didn't spend all my money with a lot of meaningless things. I didn't have to overwork to afford for these things. I could stay with him until 2 years old. Here in Israel, people put kids in the ma'on, on the daycare. The 6 months, I could stay with him until 2 years before sending him to daycare. For work, of course, we are immigrants, so we need to work hard, but still I could buy time, quality of life. Now I can breathe, and that's my life. And I want to share a little bit here and there with you about my journey until here and from here, because minimalism is not the end destiny, as you know. It's a journey, and I also commit mistakes. I also overconsume. I also have to sometimes look at the big picture, the clutter, the uncomfortable places. For me, tech clutter is something very hard to deal with. And yeah, that's my small bubble of minimalism. Welcome to Minimal Tuka. My name is Inya, but Tuka is my nickname, like my internet name, and that's gonna be the name that you're gonna be know me for. And yeah, welcome, and I hope we get along and we can share and grow a lot together in this small space that I'm gonna start from now on. So let me know what you want to see, if you want a house tour, if you want to understand a little bit more about us as a family and minimalism and motherhood for 2 kids. I have 4 and a 2, almost 3 years old. Traveling as a minimalist, I have tons of ideas and tons of things going on, and I'm gonna be happy to have you coming along with me. And again, thank you so much for watching this little intro, not so little, about our new channel here on the internet. So thank you so much. Bye bye.